Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. Good morning. Welcome to my cactus live stream, sowing out cactus care. Every now and then I also talk a little bit about other stuff, my life, the classic. So welcome to my live stream. I brought a lot of seedlings again today. A lot of the ones that we haven't gotten to water yesterday. I have them here again because they need water right away again. So yeah, and we will have a nice live stream today discussing a lot of the stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. Was a quite interesting stream yesterday. Talked a lot about I just want to say, because of the live stream that I did yesterday, it got a little bit more political than I like to have, but the situation warranted it, like it was just necessary, because I had seen in my comments a big German party actually commenting, to gain members, to I don't know, to promote their stuff. And I wanted to make sure that nobody gets the idea I am affiliated with them or any other party. I'm not really getting into a certain party's corner. So yeah, I wanted to, and that's why yesterday's stream kind of developed into a different direction. I like when it happens, it keeps things fresh. I don't want to make a habit out of it, but if it happens, it happens. And yesterday there was a good reason for it. Some things needed to be said at that moment because of the comments that came in. And yeah, so today I'm back with the cactus stuff. So great to be back. I want to go through everything slowly, but just want to say, hey guys, welcome to my live stream. And I would just start opening containers. I also brought to Chile again. I wanted to discuss something because I felt like one of them was a little bit dehydrated. I tried to fix that yesterday, and I believe we got it. So yeah, but I want to look at that today. I brought a lot of water again here and here to water the seedlings, which will be a big thing today. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what will happen today. Always happy to take questions, general questions. Like yesterday, sometimes the stream takes its very own direction, and I like that. So yeah, let's go through these. These were planted in sowing soil. 2 little cactus seedlings here. Hilde Winterer hybrid. What is that? Okay. Yeah, Hilde Winterer and Echinopsis hybrid, Humkes Roro. 2 seedlings. We will see. So far they haven't really grown much. They are still in the bag. I leave little cactus seedlings in the bag for a good 2 months. And these are just too small. I think they should at least be 2 months now, but they are still too small. Sometimes they do not grow healthily. Just as a comparison, this is how the healthy cactus seedlings should look like at the same time. These have roughly the same age. Yeah, and these were also sown on our live stream within the last 2.5 months. Hey, welcome to the live stream. Great to have you. Thank you for joining. I have no idea what that means. Is that like something you promote, or is that something you say? I have no idea what it is. But again, welcome to my live stream. We will discuss a bunch of things here. Looks a little spammy. I think I will remove it. I apologize if this is intended to be a legitimate comment. Let me see. Okay, let's continue with the seedling. I will look into that, what this is, if this is promo or something. But I will look into the seedlings now again. These 2 are still too small to be taken out of the bag. They need at least another month in that thing. So for now, I just can't take them out. They are just bound to be in a bag. The humidity is just important for them right now, and yeah. So let's have a look at these. Yeah, one green seedling in the middle that looks healthy. I'm happy about that. About the other ones, that's pretty not really looking like they are interested to stick around, like they would continue to live, you know. They have at least variegation, probably full variegation, a lot of them. Basically albino seedlings, and those might not be able to survive long term. And the green one, that one has a chance, so we would see. This will stay in the bag. The moment I take this out of the bag, the little white seedlings will all be gone, probably. They are very sensitive to like that time when you take it out of the bag. Hey, good morning. Guten Morgen. Great to have you in the stream. I'm usually doing it in English, and so I'll stay at that. But great to have you. Nice to have you. Guten Morgen. To say a few German words. Every now and then I have a few German friends that come in the stream, and I love that. So yeah, great to have you around. Apart from that, yeah, that one seedling is our hope. The others, I will leave them in the bag a little longer just to give them the theoretical chance to grow a little more. But for now, I don't really expect that they will grow. These don't look good. You could take them out, a lot of them already. At the very least, they would have to be grafted. Okay, so let's continue. Okay. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. We have a lot of stuff to do today. Yesterday, the stream was basically overtaken by a discussion that we had. So today, I wanna do more of the cactus stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. But great to have you around. So yeah, in this one, I have one seedling, and it's a tiny one in center. I don't like how that looks. It's too deep in the soil. I will try to get it out a little bit. It's important that the little cactus seedlings don't really touch the soil too much. A little bit is okay, but if they are surrounded by soil pretty high, it can lead to infections. They don't get a lot of light then. And this is a very small cactus seedling. It probably hasn't good chances anyway, but I at least want to give it the best care I can. Maybe we can save it, you know? Sometimes it works. And every now and then it's really worth it when you see the plant when it's flowering. Hey, good morning. Yeah, my mother is in the hospital right now, and she's getting checkup. Like everything, like stomach, everything, the whole you know, the whole system, to make sure why she's not all right. She has a lot of problems with, yeah, she can barely eat without having pain in the side. So they're looking at all the important organs that are there. And right now it's too early to tell. They have scheduled her. They have given her some sort of a sonogram, and yeah, but nothing really big that stuck out, and that's good. I'm just happy when they don't find anything. My mom's really important for the whole family. She helps us all. She's great to have around, you know. So I hope that they will find nothing. So yeah, thank you. We are all thinking about her. So yeah, in this case, this is Bamboy, I think. Yeah, this is a good seedling. It would be smart to grow that out. it would be smart to wait for that seedling. So I will give it time. I now try to pot it up a little higher in the pot. If that shouldn't give it the light that I want it to have, I want this to grow faster. And if that shouldn't happen, I will probably take it out of this soil and put it into a different soil, but higher up, so it gets more light at the top of the pot. For now, I will leave it in a bag. The seedling doesn't really look super healthy anyway. What is the soil mix you use for the seedlings? In the first 2 months, I used a soil called cemetery soil. The blackish kind of soil that they sell for at display, you know, that you would put on a gravesite. It's just very resistant to weeds, being overgrown, that kind of stuff. But now in the last months, I switched to sowing soil, just classic sowing soil. Nothing bad, nothing big. Sometimes you do not have to reinvent the wheel. So in the sowing soil, I felt like the seedlings look so much better compared to the mineral medium. You really have to invest a lot of time getting all the different minerals right that you would have to have a good all-round mineral medium. You can't just get only pumice, you know, because the pumice would dry out too fast. So every now and then, I've been experimenting pumice, sowing soil, other types of soil. I've experimented with coconut, and the sowing soil was just the best. So I'm working with sowing soil again. Think in the first 10 years of my life, I worked with sowing soil. Then I went a little bit more mineral, sowed out a lot with pumice, and today I'm back at the sowing soil. Yeah, Friedhofserde, like I'm not sure what the exact name is that they are. Graberde, I think grave soil, grave stuff. I've read about that because another breeder had posted his recipe for soil, and I found it interesting, and I wanted to try it out. And you could get pretty good. You could get pretty good kind of soil for not so expensive, you know. But the bad thing is that it kind of had the tendency to attract the fungus gnat problem that we had. I'm just listening to the chickens. The chickens had been like this morning. I always have an eye on the chickens of the neighbor. It's not my job, you know, but I like the chickens. So every now and then I check on them to make sure that everything is all right. And they've been loud the whole morning. Just the whole morning. I was out just before I started my stream, and now I hear them again. That's why I've just listened. At some point, I might have to go outside to check on the chickens. We have a lot of foxes here, a lot of wild foxes, big birds, buzzards, that kind of stuff. And neighbor lost a few in the last years. So I'm trying to keep an eye on it just for the sake of the chickens. I don't want the chickens to be eaten, you know. So every now and then when it's like they are like a dog, like a watchdog. They see something that scares them, and they start, you know, like the chicken sounds. I'm not sure what they are doing, like how it's called in English, you know. But they're really loud. If they see they often see foxes that walk around here. It doesn't mean that the fox can get to them, but when they behave like that, it's always for me like an alarm signal to keep an eye on it, to stay awake. Okay, think they are quiet now, so I hope everything's all right. Like I said, I was out before I started the video, and everything was okay, so I hope it's just okay again. So let's have a look at these seedlings. These are really interesting. Check this out. I love these. These look really, really good. This is Teleflora, offspring of Teleflora. Teleflora is a hybrid between Sörensia telegona and Echinopsis irisi grandiflora. That's like an intergeneric hybrid, and it has the tendency with these intergeneric hybrids that they sometimes aren't perfectly healthy genetically. So seeing the seedlings here, a lot of them are green. That is, for me, that's already good, because I have seen so many seedlings from Teleflora, from the mother plant here, that had seedlings that were not green, that were fully variegated, had to be grafted, or were just weak, you know? So it's great to see that we have healthy seedlings here. Really healthy. Some of them look mutated, like maybe with crested or monstrose growth. These developing nicely. I'm looking forward to seeing these seedlings on the long run. Some of the small ones are still so small that I can't take them out of the bag. I always leave the cactus seedlings in the plastic bag for a good 2 months. 2 or 3, often more, but it depends on if you have a problem or not. If you have a problem in a bag like this, it can instantly turn into a huge problem. Like, it can cost you all the seedlings that are in there. So if I'm in doubt, I take them out of the bag. And I have a lot that are out of the bag that I brought here today that we will discuss. And most of them have in common that they need more water. So later I will just spend half an hour watering them. And I brought a bucket here so I can start watering. I also brought my chili. I wanted to show them again. Proud dad of chili plants. It's a little out of season, I heard, but I want to grow them inside under a lamp. And maybe I'm looking forward being able to show them here, like the fruit of my labor, you know, like when I have the chili, when I'm harvesting the first chilies and can show them here. I'm looking forward to that. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Yeah, I'm trying to catch up with the cactus stuff that I didn't get to yesterday. It was a quite unique stream yesterday. And again, sometimes I'm not against letting the stream take its own direction, you know, having a discussion that I find interesting at the moment. Yesterday's stream turned out a little bit too political, but it was necessary because of the comments that I had in the chat. There were multiple comments by a big German party, and I wanted to point out that I'm not affiliated with them or any other party. You know, I wanted to say that again because it really matters to me. Like, I didn't find it usual that they just, you know, walk around the live stream of people like a Cactus live stream and need to promote their party. And yesterday there were just a few things that needed to be said. But again, I'm now catching up on everything. So yeah, thank you for being back. Let's go through all of this. So when I opened this one up, I saw a fungus gnat. Welcome to the fungus gnat channel, ladies and gentlemen. This is unfortunately a situation where I have to take them out of the bag. I'm not sure when that fungus gnat got in, because it hadn't been inside of it in the beginning. Just, it must have happened at some point. So yeah, but now's the time that I want to take it out, because it's just been at that point when you already have a fungus gnat in there, drying it out is the fastest way to get rid of it. So I want to keep these guys from laying their eggs, laying their larvae, whatever what they do. I don't care how they do it. I just don't want their larvae in the soil. And you achieve that, like, you get rid of that by letting the soil dry out. Letting the soil dry out in between watering. That's one of the main reasons why they often recommend to let the soil dry out in between waterings. So you get rid of these nasty little things also. Not only, but also. It's just a pest that you can easily ditch if you have dry soil. in all the containers, like when I had seedlings in a bag, the ones that had dry soil had the least problems with fungus gnats, even in a bag. And that should theoretically give them the perfect conditions. So yeah, this goes out now, and that means that the small seedlings here, we will lose some. We would have to graft the fully variegated seedlings right now, and I'm not doing it. The grafting stock is not ready. The grafting stocks that I have in the greenhouses, they are currently hibernating. I would not graft on a hibernating plant or a plant that just comes from winter. And the seedlings inside are still too small. We are getting to a point, check it out. When the seedlings get big enough to graft on them, you could already do it. But at this point, I cannot fully make a decision which seedlings I want to keep. So I try to avoid that, you know. I try to wait a little bit longer with the grafting. And the grafting that I'm doing, the seedling grafting that we're doing here, we're just doing it to show, to have it on the stream, to show how it's done. We're discussing everything. Will be a fun experiment. And these here, everything that's fully white would have to be grafted. So now that I'm taking it out, I expect to lose a good fifth of the seedlings in this thing. Yeah. And there are also some bigger seedlings, and that's why it's important to now take them out. If you leave that in the bag while you see the fungus gnats in there, you could lose any kind of seedling at any time. You know, you often have no influence on which one they claim. So you just have to watch them take one seedling after the other. It's also very unfun. I hate it. So here, and again, this is also the old soil that I used, the cemetery soil, grave soil. This is just, it's a horticultural product, you know. This isn't stuff that they snatch from, you know. It's just a horticultural product that they make for that specific purpose. But again, it might not be that they heat treated it or something like that, you know, like the kind of treatment that they give sowing soil, specially made for sowing out. So you would have to, with this soil, you would have to invest a lot of effort to get it, to pasteurize it at the very least, to get rid of fungus gnat that might be in there. You have a lot of real pieces of wood, and it wasn't a huge problem, but it's just the type of stuff that promotes fungus gnats, that promotes having a humid environment in the container, and you get a fungal infection, damping off, you know. And so the sowing soil was much better in that regard. And most of the problems that I had in that soil, like with the fungus gnats, are directly related to the soil. So yeah, these here, similar situation, very small seedlings, one bigger one or two even, that definitely have potential, long-term potential to be grown. This is also Teleflora. And yeah, this is what I mean. Like when I earlier talked about having green seedlings from Teleflora, then this is good, you know, like that other one was good. This is exactly the one that I described. We might get a few very healthy seedlings eventually, but in general, those are a lot of seedlings that have some sort of a problem already, just from germinating. And when you're growing them, it can still mean that they are very susceptible to fungal infections, that they are a little bit sickly, you know, that you might best graft them. That can also happen, even if they manage to grow into a healthy plant long term. You never know until you do it. So we're here. We will find out. The mechanism on the bags is starting to fail everywhere. They aren't really made to be reused. Okay. And the container that I'm taking out of humidity now, I will have to spray them like 3 times a day now, at least. Today, they will need 3 or 4 times where I need to water them now that I'm taking them out of the bag. In the beginning, in the first days, they will have some sort of a shock, you know. It will be unpleasant. So I try to mitigate that a little bit by watering them as often as I can, but only in the beginning. Later on, you want that soil to dry out. You do not want to keep the same humidity that you had in the bag. The soil needs to dry out a little in between. So these are looking good. I think Lubivia seedlings, little cactus seedlings, and they've been transplanted into sowing soil. This is the sowing soil, and it's also a good medium to repot. Like if you have to repot little seedlings, sowing soil is pretty good. Yeah, this just has a number. I'm not sure what it is, but I will continue to grow them. Let's get a little water. Here's my little tub, by the way, that I'm using to water. Let's bring it here. Here's the can, the little leaky can. I need a big tub because the can is constantly losing water. But it's part of the channel. I'm just loyal to my tools here. So yeah, I watered the seedlings a little bit. They will go back into the bag for at least another month, maybe more, probably more, because they just haven't grown that much. I would like to have them a certain size before I take them out of the bag. Okay. So let's start watering a few maybe. Here's one that's super dry. This here is a dried up moss. Take that out. I hate that. Okay. Yeah, and the soil is too dry. When the soil dries out, it breaks, turns into this little piece that you could take it out now. If I would turn the pot upside down, this would come out in one piece, like a brick, like a stone. So I try to get it a little bit more flexible again, watering it with the leaky can. And it takes a while when the soil was like that. You need to repeat it a few times, make sure that the soil, that you break off that kind of firm structure that the soil has been shaped into just from drying out. Maybe punch it a little, punch the soil a little with a pen just to get it loose again, loosened up, because the top layer has dried up in the way that you see in, like, when nature, you know, when everything is at an immense risk of flooding, because the top layer of soil is so hard that the water can't sink in. So it just forms these huge waves that then become life-threatening for people. So, and in the same way, the soil here can dry up, that it can take in the water. So getting it to a point where it stays a little bit flexible so the cactus seedlings can grow into it is important. So I'm watering this a few times now. Sometimes you need to put it in an actual tub, let it soak, sometimes over hours. And yeah, that can help. If that doesn't solve the problem, repotting definitely will. So, okay, I've given this little container at least 3 or 4 full loads of water here. Check them. I don't want to drip on everything, but check them out. They look healthy. They look nice. You don't really see that they are in such a firm soil. Sometimes when you have seedlings in a firm soil, they look bad, but these are okay. They can deal with it to a certain degree. And I really like that the skin color, some of them are green, some of them are yellowish. Really interesting kind of difference in regards to the color. Okay, next one. Yeah, this one's too dry. And also had been watered yesterday evening. You just have to really water a lot with cactus seedlings, or probably with any other seedling too. I'm fairly certain that a lot of people grow plants and run into a problem, like having suddenly lose a plant and aren't sure because of why it happened. They aren't sure why it happened, and very often it's lack of water. Like when you're growing stuff, if in doubt, it's very often that you're not giving enough water instead of too much. Too much, like overwatering, can also happen, but you really have to extensively water. Like you have to keep the whole rootstock completely wet, completely soaked for quite some time, and that then leads to that the roots can take in any oxygen anymore. So yeah, it doesn't happen so often as dehydration happens. When I go on the internet, like cactus groups, people showing seedlings, I see dehydration so often. It's one of the most common things that I see. It's just you always assume that a cactus doesn't need a lot of water, but especially when they are young, they definitely need that. So here's one that has always been a little bit of a like an intensive care patient. This is just variegated, and they need even more water. So I've been watering and watering, and it's sometimes hard to always stay at it. You know, these would need maybe 4 times water a day. And if you just forget it for 3 or 4 hours, the seedlings can then already dehydrate. That's why I like the sowing soil. It saves you a little bit of time watering. If you are using a mineral soil, the soil will only hold the water for, like, the mineral will only hold the water for a very short time. It's often very fast draining mediums, like mineral mediums, where the water just runs through. That's why they are used in cactus growing. But that also becomes difficult when you're working with seedlings, little stuff that just needs a lot of water. Okay, so here, clean up here. A little bit of weeding out, and we need to start singling them out very soon. Within the next couple of weeks, we will do a stream just where we're only singling out. Apart from that, they are dehydrated. So these will get more water today, starting now. And I'm also trying to give it a few waterings, giving a little bit water every time, letting it sink in a little. The soil always needs a little time to just get back to the original state, get rid of all the trauma. It's important for the seedlings. It really helps, because right now, if you are watering and you're watering just once, and the water often doesn't even get to the roots, it will be like the top layer will kind of push it away. So now I'm watering again, making sure that they really have a little bit of time to take in the water. Later, when I move them under the plant lamp, they will lose a lot of humidity within the first few hours already. Okay. Yeah, this one's similar. A little bit too deep. That's what I really don't like, and what I really started to change after seeing how much it bothered me when in the stream. Often trying to fully fill the pot completely, and that just gives the seedlings more light and a little bit more fresh air. There's always air that's getting somewhere on the lower parts of the seedlings, and you don't have that like this. But since dehydration is more of a problem right now, this hasn't been costing us any seedlings, or if it cost us seedlings, not many. So I'm watering now. Here's a seedling, by the way. Here's a little reddish seedling. You can barely see it because it has changed the color, because it has dehydration. If I would have to guess, I haven't seen that seedling there and only watered over there for a few days, and that will instantly change to cause dehydration, instantly trigger that discoloration, reddish discoloration on the seedling. And yeah, that's a big warning. It already looks smaller like it would be if it had been properly watered. So I need to keep an eye on that seedling, or we will lose it. This would probably be one of the seedlings that's at risk of disappearing. And you never know how good it is. It could be the best hybrid ever. So it depends on how many seedlings you have of each cross, how many you are willing to grow, how much you want to select yourself. You can just say, okay, I'm growing them out and let nature sing. At some point they will run out of space and they will single themselves out. You can do that, but that means you have no say in the selection process. You can't really say, okay, I'm sorting out all seedlings that have this trait or that trait. So personally, I try to wait a little longer until I decide what to sort out. And if I see that seedlings are getting crowded in a pot, then I really try to fix the problem long term. So everything that is where there are too many seedlings in the pots, we would single them out. And I will cry when I do it because it will be a lot of work. But it needs to be done. So yeah, this one I wanted to show you. I singled these out, and it looks horrible. So I need to do it again. There are just a few seedlings in there that are lying around, that are crooked, that are they're just not doing it right. So I'm trying to fix that. Just putting a little bit of water into the soil again, and now I try to reposition the seedlings that look bad. My main goal is just that the seedlings have a good, healthy connection to the soil, and not like, when you have a seedling that's totally distorted, like these here on the side here, they are leaning over the pot. It's just not healthy. Okay. So I'm trying to fix that a little now. Pulled the little seedlings back from over the ledge there. Trying to get them a solid connection to the soil. Slowly, all of them. And this is a container where we might have to take them out very soon. I consider doing it today because that one seedling that I'm just moving here, I don't like how the root looks. It could explain that they are so wiggly, that the cactus seedlings are so unstable on their own root. Sometimes you have a seedling, you have a container that had been attacked, where the seedlings had been bitten by fungus gnats, and that kind of damages the skin at the base, and then the seedlings become, they lean over. And I feel I could be seeing that, so we would take them out now. We might lose a few, especially if what I see here, I have kind of zoomed in on the seedling here, and this is completely transparent. Base looks transparent. It's classic fungus gnat behavior. So I'm taking that seedling out. I believe it does not have a chance. So yeah, apart from that, here's another seedling that's unstable. That's really bad, because this is the lifeline for the seedlings. It's so important. They need that firm connection to the soil. So these will be taken out. Everything needs to dry out here. And hopefully this will work. Hopefully they will get a little bit better long term when the soil has dried out a few times. Okay. Let's see, did we have this one? Probably not. Let me see. I will bring back the top of hydration when we need it. For now, I just a little bit of seedlings in the bag. Here's another Teleflora. I'm not sure if I had those, but it's the same. It's basically the same picture. A few healthy seedlings and a lot of variegated seedlings. Some that are tiny, like that are not growing at all. Something rolled around. Let me see what kind of a thing was like happened there. Yeah. Okay, but there's some healthy seedlings in between. So I have hope that we will get something here. We'll close it up again. The seedlings, like the green seedlings, have spines. That's usually a good sign. So, yeah. If we can get that 1 or 2 plants from every cross, that would be great. That's already enough. Okay, so here's another one that I took out of the bag where I had to transplant. I think I might have even dropped them. So here's also a lot of stuff to do. Fixing a seedling that was lying on the side. Very often when that happens, it's fungus gnats, but it can also be that, like when you are transplanting seedlings into new soil, the soil will move a little. It will sink in a little. When you start watering, the seedlings will change position and all that, and that is just something that happens after transplanting them. So after watering, you might have to get active again, fix the position of the seedlings again. In general, I do a lot to move seedlings around, make sure that they have a good connection, make sure that there's no sick seedling in between. Always checking the root when I'm doing something like what I'm doing now. Constantly trying to bury the root a little bit more, get it a little bit deeper into the soil. Okay, I think it's a little bit better now. It has more stability. This is wet, and I don't need to water it right now. We'll leave it, but it will be watered again later. I just want it to dry out once, and then I will water it again in maybe 3 hours. Okay, let's have a look at these here. Not completely dry, but they can use a little water. Let me see what it is. Seedlings are green. That's great. I'm happy about that. Oh yeah, this is from a Validus hybrid cross. So this is good. Validus with a colored father. Could be great. Tiny seedlings still. We will see how they will develop. But for now, I'll just water it a little. Just a little bit, not much. Okay. Yeah, so this one wasn't so dried out. So I didn't have to water so often. Feel like the soil looks good, so I can take these out again now. They got a little bit more water. They're getting fertilizer every few weeks. They have everything they need. So let me see what's in there. I need space for that. It looks weird. Looks like work. I had transplanted seedlings in there that weren't doing well, so I need to check on them again. This was a container where I really had to move the seedlings. The old soil was too dry, had completely dried out, and so now they are in a bag again to give them a little bit of humidity again. I want them to recover because they didn't look good. They had orange kind of discolorations, and I still see them on some seedlings. They might not have a chance. So for now, I would just try to give them a perfect connection to the soil, have them straight in the soil. Every now and then, when you're potting up little tiny seedlings, they just sit on top of the soil, but the seedling isn't really fully connected. And I try to fix that. But this is going to be hard. There's some seedlings where I don't think that they will stand a chance, you know. Here's a big seedling, and I'm looking forward to seeing that. So at least there's one big one that will probably make it. Here's a little seedling that didn't make it. I take that out. I do not want to have a fungal infection. And if you have a seedling that's rotting in there, then that's really what you would get, probably. So every time I lose a seedling, I take it out. Okay. That one seedling, like that big one, check it out. It's really extremely big compared to the others. So that one could be taken out. That's the size of this seedling is probably how the other seedlings could have looked like if they hadn't gotten any sort of problems. And yeah, maybe we can save one or two of the smaller ones, so I leave it in the bag for a little longer. Usually these would already be out of the bag. They have already been out of the bag, but they didn't do well with it. They looked horrible. I hated it. So that's why I repotted them again. Maybe we can save one or two of them. Okay. So what's that? We will have to take a closer look at this. This looks wild. So we have green seedlings. There are white seedlings, or reddish. The reddish seedlings are albino, variegated, how they say. And they would have to be grafted. And the others, yeah, they look interesting. And here's a fungal infection. See that white thing in the middle of the two seedlings there? That we will have to see why that is there. My suspicion is that it's probably a seedling that didn't make it. Once, one of the white ones, they will eventually go away. They just don't have that ability to produce chlorophyll, so they go away. And this fungal infection could have been one like that. And if I would not take it out right away, that could instantly attack the seedlings there because it's already touching them. It might already be too late. I can't tell you how it looks below, but I want to take it off now. So let me get started here. Okay. Took it off. It looks like spider web. A little bit of fungal growth, fungal germination. I'm just trying to see what it grew on. Can't tell. Could be a seed, Sometimes you have an old seed that is triggering it, or it could be a seedling like that, one of those variegated seedlings. And I see another seedling that has no chance, so I take it out. Here is a reddish seedling, but it has that milky kind of skin texture that tells me it's already gone. So I would take that one out too. Okay. Little reddish, you can see it's exactly like the others, but this one is starting to fail. These are just not made to last. In nature, you would not have them. You need to really invest a little bit of time and care to save those seedlings. And in nature, that usually doesn't happen. You have variegated seedlings, but they are often partial variegated seedlings and not full. And you can also have full variegated plants in nature, but those usually they have grown, like their root has grown into another plant, and that allows them to take in nutrients. Full variegated plants often can't do that. They don't produce the chlorophyll. Okay, so yeah, I cleaned up a little here. We will see. There are still a few of these reddish seedlings in there, whitish reddish seedlings. But for now, I give them a chance. The reason is that there is a small chance that some of these seedlings might be able to survive on their own root. And I want to give them the chance to find out. I have a lot of plants that are somewhat variegated, but not fully. And they are much more fun to grow. Like with the other thing, this thing is starting to fail. Okay, I think I had those. See what we have here. Oh, this is interesting. We had germinations in 2 different cycles. So the bigger seedlings, I don't want to turn it around too much, but there's some bigger seedlings at the bottom there that have come up maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. Let's say 3. And the smaller ones are just germinating right now. You sometimes have that delay. The fresher seeds just come up first, and then the others. Sometimes it's just genetic healthiness. Some are genetically healthier than others, and that also affects the viability and germination time. So I'm quite happy to see these delayed seedlings. I will put in a little water. It's actually there's enough to just facilitate the viability, the germination, but I want to help a little bit. If there are more seedlings that could come up, I want to make it like I want to give them the chance. So let me just clean this here a little. There's one seedling that doesn't really look like it has a chance, like tiny kind of seedlings. I would take that out. It just looks like the beginning of a fungal infection and nothing else. So the others we will see. Others will get a chance. I will keep that in the bag for at least 2 months now. The seedlings that have just come up, they are at the very beginning, and they need at least a month or 2 to have reached the size where they are healthy. In this one, I transplanted three little seedlings, 3 little cactus seedlings. Let's see what we have here. Echinopsis glauca. These are good seedlings. Really bothers me that they are not so healthy, Like, and I look at them and I'm not seeing that fast kind of growth. I really hope we can get those to adulthood, because this is a good plant. Like the mother plant was a good plant, is a good plant, and yeah, I hope I can get a plant from that, a larger one that is flowering eventually. It's not that they look completely without chance, that they haven't been doing anything. Some of them have a few spines here and there, but just not fast growth. It looks like genetically this will be these seedlings. We have to fight for them. That's why I already reported them. I wanted to give them a better soil than what they were in. And we would see at some point, maybe we're grafting them, but they're still a little bit too small. Okay. So let's water the chili. Chili needs a little bit of water too. What's this? I can't read it. Chili Jäger. I don't know. I can't read it. I need to look at it when it's fully clean. It's just full of dirt. I will clean it up later, but it's just a certain commercial cultivar of chili. So I'm giving it a little water. I'm very proud. They need to be repotted very soon. They are already in a little bit too small pots. And I will get a few in the next days. We will do it on the stream again. Maybe I will put them into a bigger pot right away. And here's the other one. I wanted to have a look at this one because it looked a little bit dehydrated. But now it's better. Like yesterday, I watered it a few times. Wasn't really seeing that the dehydration got better, but now I think it's normal again. Also needs to be in a bigger pot. Yeah, and sometime soon we will continue to sow out different stuff. I've been getting a few different types of seeds that I wanna sow out, and it will be fun to do this year. I enjoy that. We'll see how much time I have left in between the cactus stuff this year. Yeah, but this is a long-term thing now. I love sowing out, and maybe we can grow difficult plants. Showing how to do that, how to induce germination could be great. Okay, so here's one. Looks okay. I've been fertilizing them because I noticed the color change. And here's a seedling that's lying. I hate that. So let me just water it to make the soil a little bit more flexible, and then I would try to maybe move that seedling a little. Maybe look into it, what the problem is. But for now, they are okay. Seedlings don't look bad. They look healthy. And they are a little bit too big to now have the classic fungus gnat problems. Feel like they have already outgrown the dangerous phase. Okay. Yeah, I will pick that seedling up here. I'm not sure how. It gets pushed down by the other seedlings that are beside it. So I try to kind of lean it against the wall of the pot to give it a little bit more stability. I kind of wrapped the other seedling around it a little bit just to keep it up. I don't want the seedlings to be on the soil. I don't like that when the seedling touches the soil from this, with the upper part of the seedling. Of course, it needs to touch the soil with the root, but if you have a halfway lying seedling, it's not healthy for the seedling. So, okay, these look ganz... I almost spoke German. I wanted to say these look ganz gut, which means these look pretty good. And yeah, they look decent. A little bit too deep. I've been trying to fix that, but once you sow it out, you can't really fix it. Like until next time you are transplanting into a new medium. We can try to get them out of the pot, just turning it around. But I'm worried that I might completely take them out of the soil, and it's a little bit too early. I like to leave them a little bit longer in there. So for now, they just need water. Not really seeing any problems there under the lamp. They've been fertilized. just a classic like a liquid fertilizer that I'm putting into the water. And they've been developing nicely. Really proud of how the seedlings are turning out. We will have a lot of issues long term. When you're working with so many different plants, you always have issues. Or you always lose some. But we will do our best to minimize that. To only have the acceptable losses. So yeah. Yeah, too many need to be singled out very soon. We will do just a stream just for that. Apart from that, watering. Seedlings look healthy. There are some in between that look like they might be dehydrated. But nothing really drastic, nothing really bad. I like how they look. Some of them are dehydrated. We really need to single them out. That will give them more space and will give them more room to take in water. When you have crowded seedlings, it can always happen that some seedlings are at the disadvantaged spots and they don't get as much as some of the others, you know. Okay, let's see what we have here. This is old seeds. Every now and then, usually after many years, I see the outcome of a hybrid cross that I did, and I like what I see. And in that case, I sow out some of the seeds that I might have. And in this case here, I've sown out older seeds. They already were 4 years at the least. And yeah, the viability was bad, but I got one seedling. One seedling's better than none. It remains to be seen if this will be a healthy seedling. But for now, it's there. For now, it's in that thing, in that little pot, in that bag. It's growing poorly, not fast, but it is still here. So we will see. I'm rooting for the underdog. In this case here, this is okay, but also dehydration. You can see that. Check out how firm the soil is there. It stays at the spot even if you press on the pot. So yeah, soil needs to be watered a few times. So let's put it in the tub of hydration, and I will water it a little. And at the same time, it's soaking in a little water from the bottom. The legendary tub of hydration. Been using it since a few days. And it made the stream better. It made my desk clean again. Before that, I always had every day, I had flooding, mudslide, little cactus seedlings lying on my desk. But now with the tub, it's a lot better. So, since this soil had dried out so much, they also need like time to let the water soak in. Need to get the soil flexible again. Maybe punching it a little bit with a pen, just to get the soil a little bit loose again, loosened up. Seedlings look okay, but they are a little bit reddish. Reddish means stress, not always meaning heat, but it usually does. Heat or thirst, like when the seedlings are dehydrating, then they usually get that reddish glow to them. And they have it. And it's always, you don't have to be overly worried if you see it, but it usually gives you a feedback on how much watering, on how much more watering you should do. If all of the seedlings turn reddish, get discolorations, then either the lamp is too strong, they don't get enough water, or both. So yeah, I find it really useful, especially when you're like when people are unsure what the problem is, why they have lost the seedling, why when people aren't sure if they are overwatering or underwatering. And but the seedlings, when they turn reddish, I don't see that so often when they are overwatered, when they are being overwatered. You have that reddish discoloration very often when the water isn't enough. It's probably a way for the seedling to protect itself from the sunlight. Maybe producing something that helps them to shield a little bit more sunlight. Okay. Yeah, this looks okay. A little bit too deep, what I say in all these cases. But the soil is not completely dried out. I will water it a little now. They've also gotten fertilizer. Been pretty happily living their life as a cactus seedling. Every now and then, my cat Kami jumps on them, sleeps on them, but apart from that, they have all the chances in the world. They have a good life. So this will go back to the lamb. Next one. I like this one a lot more. So this is like I tried to fill up the pot, and it was even fuller, but the rest sank in. At some point, you always have, once you start watering, the soil will sink in, will give way. And if you already haven't filled up the pot, then later it becomes extreme. And in this case, it's okay. Seedlings still get light, they are way up. And the soil behaves good. I can see that the soil has dried up. The roots look healthy. The color isn't really great, but they are now in new soil. This is new soil. They haven't really used up the nutrients in this soil. And they are getting fertilized every 2 or 3 weeks. Here's a seedling that might need a little moving around. So I will water the soil first, and then I will take a look at that root. Might be fungus gnat. Always a possibility, because it's a fine line between watering so much, like just watering enough for the seedlings, giving the seedlings as much water as they need, but not as much as is necessary to keep the fungus gnats around. You know, you try to not go to that humidity where the fungus gnats will have a great time again. So, and once you're spraying all the seedlings thrice a day, you will always have some that might have needed to wait another 2 or 3 days to dry out, but you accidentally watered them again. Hey Robert, welcome to the stream. Great to have you. Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to catch up on the cactus stuff that I missed yesterday in yesterday's stream. I just every now and then we'll have these kinds of streams that develop into a different direction. I don't want to stop doing it because it's important. You know, it's important to be just authentic, to be that I'm myself. And in this case, I really want to point out that even though we had comments in the chat, like someone came in the chat to comment politically, I'm not supporting the party, you know, or any other kind of party. And yesterday, kind of, you know, I used the chance yesterday to say a few things why I wouldn't support any kind of the other parties and why I don't support them. You know, it needed to be said at that point yesterday, because it's important that it's unusual that you have political parties in a cactus stream, and I needed to just address that, you know. But yeah, today we are doing plants again, not doing it every time. So yeah, I had transplanted these and I was happy with the outcome. One of the seedlings here doesn't look good though. It has basically what looks like a broken base that's above the root, and that part can easily be infected, attacked by fungus gnats. You can have all kinds of fungal infections at that spot, because that's where they often like get in contact with the soil or get in contact with the fungus gnat. So let's take it out and have a look. This is the seedling, and I turn it around. This is the rootstock that's attached to it. And it has absolutely no stability. If I would pot it up, it's leaning on the soil again. And I just wonder why, because it has the root. Very often, if you have fungus gnats, they don't even have the root anymore. You can even see the soil there. So it's not that something has eaten up the root. I'm not sure why it does it. It's a little bit reddish at the base, but sometimes that can also be from, like indicator for stress, dehydration. I will move that to the corner of the pot where it can infect anything. No, I take it out. This is not healthy. I just don't find the. I tried to pot it up again and it just leaned over in an unhealthy way. I'm not putting that in again. So that seedling goes out. Unfortunately, this is the end for Mr. Seedling. Here's another one that I take out. I'm sorry. Yeah, apart from that, here's one that I want to pick up again that had fallen over. These really need to dry out. Like sometimes you see soil and you know it needs to dry out. I don't want to have that kind of humid, constantly wet soil in that container. So I would try to water that one differently. Okay, so here, yeah, we need to single out maybe 4 containers. We could split that up into 4. And it might still be too much, but yeah, 4 containers is what we're doing here. The seedlings are Zizala crossed with a hybrid called Kazoa. Uwe Kahle. So pretty good hybrid probably. I mean, I haven't seen the flower, but I haven't seen anything bad by Uwe. Like the really bad stuff, even the stuff that he sorts out is great. So this is, I will try to single them out, give them space and all. Okay. I've recently grown a seedling involving Zizala, and I was a little disappointed because the flower was so small. I hope that in this case, like they will have a bigger flower. Maybe what I got was just a like one on the small sometimes you have a range of flower sizes, and in this case it could have been one of the smaller ones. But I haven't seen more seedlings from the cross yet, so I hope that Zizala in general will have also some bigger offspring, bigger flowers on the offspring. These look okay, but too many. Also need to be singled out, 50-50 maybe. Little bit of discoloration, but they look okay. They are coping well under the plant lamp. They get a lot of water now. Watering them 2 or 3 times now, just so that the water also has a little time to sink in. The first water that you put on there just runs through sometimes. And then when you water the second or third time, it finally starts, the seedlings finally have a little bit longer to take that in. Especially when soil has dried out. At that point, you might have to water it repeatedly or put it in a bucket. Okay. So here's a container full of seedlings that I transplanted because I dropped them, I think. So this wasn't really the plan to repot them already. For now, it looks okay. I don't want to do too much because I had done quite a lot, had moved them. I dropped this thing on the ground. And I had a very guilty conscience afterwards. So I would just try to not do much here. I'm watering the seedlings a little. But they look good. They didn't look dehydrated. There's bubbles coming out of the pot, by the way. That is a sign that the soil is dry. And that can sometimes, you need to then put it in a bucket, make sure that there's no insects in it, that you're not, flooding the poor insects. But apart from that, every now and then when you see that once you put water in a pot, it starts to bubble. That's usually a sign that it will take a while until the soil is flexible again, until the soil is saturated with water. Okay, it has stopped. That is a good sign. I will just try to move 1 or 2 seedlings where I saw that they are not having a solid connection to the soil. Here's one that's lying sideways. I don't like that. I will fix that. And once you do that, very often it happens that other seedlings move then too. So you might have to, once you start, you might have to it might take a while. Because there's always one that somehow changes again and now needs to be moved too. Unfortunately, it's just part of the job. But when I see all the flowers in front of me, then it's worth it, You always got to remind yourself, every seedling here could be that amazing plant that's blowing people away because the flowers are so nice. So here, dehydration. These should be much bigger. If those weren't so dehydrated, they were already much bigger and would already not fit in the pot. We need to transplant them. Next stream, probably. I will try to water them. And when you have seedlings like that, they often take a while until they get the water. And in this case, you even have a little mountain of seedlings here. We need to take that apart completely. Take the seedlings apart and maybe distribute them over 2 containers. Some of the seedlings have a discoloration, stress indicator discoloration, but it's okay. They will live, but they are too small. You can really see if you fail to water accordingly, the seedlings will get smaller and smaller. Okay, this is enough. Looks okay, too deep. Not enough soil in the pot. I fixed that in the future. For now, some seedlings look great, but others also have a discoloration. Watering is essential for all of them. Most of the stuff that I currently do is watering. And it's important that I show how much of it is watering because when you're a beginner, it's really not easy to tell the difference sometimes. Like when you really, how much do you have to water? Like the exact amount is sometimes hard to judge. Like when you're a beginner, and people always think of cacti as those drought-loving plants, so people tend to underwater both seedlings and larger plants, especially when grown in the house, like as house plants, because it's just so hard to compensate for all the humidity that the plant let's say you have a cactus at a heater in front of a window. Just because it is at the heater, you would have to water it like twice a week at the least, sometimes more. So having cacti inside, you need a lot of water. The plants need a lot of water, and some people underestimate how much. So okay, I think I used up all my water here already, but I brought another glass here. That's the only thing I'm using the beer glasses for. I think this is made for Weizen. But yeah, for wheat. But I'm using them to water the plants here. Okay, so yeah, here's a piece of wood sticking out, by the way. It's not a problem. It hasn't been, like, the seedlings look great. I'm just showing it and just pointing out to that. Because people, like, there's different schools of thought about wood in the cactus soil. And generally speaking, I would try to avoid it, but it's not a huge deal breaker. It's not that huge thing, at least not for little cactus seedlings. It can always introduce contaminants into the soil, so that is definitely true. But the way we are growing the seedlings here, you see how dry the soil always is, like in between. This soil dries out within 2 or 3 hours maybe. At least that's the impression that I got. So that piece of wood dries out very fast too. And in that moment, it's usually not that big of a constant risk in regards to fungal infections. So yeah, later on, I like to have more drainage in the soil. But it's not really something you can't do. Especially not if you live in a country like Australia, New Zealand, like where they are having these excessive summers. Sometimes a little bit more humidity in the soil is all that you need, Like it always depends where you live. So yeah, watered them. They have discoloration. They look a little bit dehydrated, but I'm sure they will make it. When you're growing cactus seedlings, you're always grinding in between the boundaries, and you know them. You know them because you learn, you try different things, and when they fail, you have seen it has told you something about the range. It has set a limit. It has shown you that seedlings need a certain amount of water, for example, like when you lose seedlings because you haven't been watering enough. It's just a learning experience, and it makes you better. At some point, you can look at the soil and you instantly know what you need to do. Too many, these need to be singled out. At least over 3 containers. Let me see what it is. Yeah, this is an interesting hybrid. They definitely deserve to be around. I find the spines interesting because I can already tell, like just from looking at the seedlings, that they have unique spines. They already have a body of a more columnar Trichocereus, but with the spine that I wouldn't see on a seedling like that. I can already, when I look at them now, I can already see that the spination is so interesting because it is on a body. It's on the body of the mother. Like in this case, it was a cross between a columnar cactus and Telegonus, something like that. Telegonus hybrid. And the plants seem to grow columnar, but with the spines of that Telegonus. I think I can recognize the Telegonus in the little spines that I see here. So that is great. I want to see them. I want to single them out. These could have cool flowers too. So for now, they will stay in there, but within the next 2 or 3 weeks, they will be repotted within the next streams. Same here. 4 containers. This will be 4 containers full of seedlings. Singling out who isn't, like, if you aren't smart, then you will have to pay the price, you know. And this is the price. If you aren't smart enough to not sow out too many, you eventually have to deal with 1 million seedlings. Okay, I watered them. Also let the water sink a little. Just slightly. Okay. Here's a container where I started to single out. And it's still a lot, but it was necessary. I think this was the other container that I dropped, and I didn't want to take them apart. Because I mixed two or 3 containers that I dropped at once. So I just put them all together with the tags in the hope that I can later, by looking at the body, see what kind of a label is right for which plant. So that's why they are still together, but they look okay. They are now in sowing soil. Sowing soil is a great soil. Has good nutrients, dries out very fast, but it doesn't really. I feel like the sowing soil stays more flexible compared to that ultra fast, like drying up soil, like the cemetery soil that we used first. Does much better in the tests. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Might be able to move this away. Okay. No, I had them already. Those are already checked. Over here, I have a few smaller ones that I also wanted to discuss. Yeah, a few green ones. Some variegated ones. This is Imperialis. Interesting kind of hybrid with very big flowers. So every seedling that I can get to flower, I will keep. These could be great. Just if I get a copy of the mother. The flower of the mother was huge, like really 22, 23 centimeters. I'm not sure how big and like exactly, but I measured it out on a video and it was really immense. Also, just from look, like sometimes you have a flower and you measure it and it is huge just because you have the sepals pointing outwards and it opens the flower wider. But it isn't really, doesn't mean that you have a huge flower in front of you. But this one, like the mother plant here, the flower was huge. Like it really, I saw that thing and I couldn't believe it. Looked really nice. So having seedlings here is a good thing. I love that. So in this one, still no real progress. Little seedlings not growing. Let's see what the label is. But they bother me that they are not growing. Flying Dragon Cantora 1433. Yeah, that explains it a little. Like in the last years, I think I have 5 different mother plants, Flying Dragon Cantora. All from the same cross by Walter Stocker. And some of them, when they produce a fruit, when they grow a fruit, it looks unhealthy. You often have fruit that is half empty, just not perfectly healthy. And yeah, this could be along the same lines, you know? Yeah, I mean, with coconuts, You also have to, like, usually depends on what pH level the coconut has. Usually they should sell you pH level of coconut that is useful for, that has the right range, the right pH level, you know. That could be the reason that you lose seedlings in coconut. Just the medium itself should be all right. You should be able to get some results with it. Not perfect results, but some results, you know. I like the problems that I had with the coconut was that I had sown out a good 100 containers of seedlings, and I found fungal infections in one third, and on the seedlings, on the top layer, affecting the seeds. Like the top layer where I had sprinkled the seeds was very fast overgrown with a cobweb kind of mold, and that was a problem that I only had with the coconut fiber. So in my opinion, it, like, you have to, sometimes you have bad luck. Sometimes you might have bad luck and you have coconut that has some fungal spores in it that you don't get with another batch, and you need to fertilize like you said. If you don't start fertilizing at some point, you might lose them. Little cactus seedlings, like when they germinate, they have 3 or 4 weeks where they don't need the nutrients that urgently, but after that I would definitely either put them in soil that already has fertilizer in it or start fertilizing. Yeah, I used to, like, I worked with coconut a lot. That original soil mix that I found on the internet about, and it was 50-50 cemetery soil and coconut fiber. And yeah, that was the original recipe that I found. And that could work, you know? Like, I haven't tested it because I haven't reordered coconut. I bought me maybe 50 of these, you know, you buy them in these kind of bricks. I bought me like 50 bricks of coconut 15 years ago, and in the last years I just used them up, and now they are gone. Like, I used them up over the last 50 years and I haven't gotten new ones since. I might, because it's useful. It's a useful additive, but you don't need it necessarily, you know. It's just I had the same kind of results with the cemetery soil. Maybe even a little bit better. For the larger plants, the cemetery soil was great. It just did poorly, like in humidity, staying wet all the time. It was attracting the fungus gnats. Okay. So yeah, these are too small here. Flying Dragon, Cantora, could be that they never grow. We will see. I have healthy seedlings from that cross, but this one, it always depends on what you use as a father. Okay, let me see what we have here. This is a container. Here's another seedling that I just that needs to be moved. Apparently I was offline, but yeah, I'm back. Apparently, I'm not sure. I'm on the wireless, and it might go away from time to time. I want to move that seedling that I found down there, moving it towards the center. Pretty happy that we have 2 seedlings in this container now. Just carefully moving the seedling. I don't want to damage it. It's not easy to pot up a little seedling of that size and not damage the root. So I'm careful about that. Check it out. So now they are in center a little bit more. Poorly in center, but closer. I really have hope here. This is Bamboy. Bamboy is a good hybrid. Everything that I get from that could be great. Okay. Here's a container where we might have to transplant a few, and it needs to be done today, so I will look into that. This is what Kami has dropped last time. Every now and then I bring seedlings that where the cat has knocked them over. It happens, but it's okay. I wanted to show you these again. I had transplanted them. This one was also dropped. In this case, I think it might have been myself who dropped it. And yeah, I kind of fixed it. This whole thing was falling apart. Seedlings had to be moved. Like the half the container had to be moved. So I'm very happy that they continue to grow again now. Just opening it up to have a look, checking the seedlings, transplanting a few that didn't really move the way they should have moved while I was transplanting the seedlings. They always, like, their position always changes a little afterwards once you start watering, you know? Okay. Yeah. There's not a lot to do. These are still very small. This is the size, very youngest cactus seedling age. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Just in the stage where they need to settle in. So I try to not move around too much in the beginning. I would personally prefer to just leave them be. In this case, I needed to move them because so many of them had been buried accidentally. Oh God. So this was a germination test. I was worried about the viability of the seeds. And I think that the result speaks for itself. So luckily, this was not unviable. I just had one test where both containers failed. And I can't tell you what it was. Maybe it was the soil. Maybe it was the temperature. Maybe it was the water. Like not enough humidity. But now, this was the second test. And there are excessively many seedlings. Isla del Sol hybrid. I love that. Really good. Cool plants. Cool flower. Big flower. White. Interesting body. Unique. Great to have seedlings. We will see what we do with that. All right, this is the other test. It's not so many yet, but they are coming. Like they are coming up everywhere. These are a little bit behind, but also many of them have germinated. Many cactus seeds have come up. Always happy when the soil, like the seeds that I cleaned, the seeds that I have created, when they don't fail, you know? It's a little bit, you need to make sure that you do not make crosses that are genetically bad, that just produce unhealthy offspring. And from a breeder's point of view, I'm happy to see that it isn't the case here. Okay. Total failure. Absolute total failure. This needs to go to the heater again. I will try to water it a little bit more. But I'm really unhappy here. Didn't think that this would be so bad. In this case, it was Sörensia seeds. Very often, you have, like with Sörensia, in my opinion, the viability, the time where you can keep the seeds, where the seeds remain viable, is relatively short. Like the time frame, you might have to sow out Sörensia seeds really fast. That is my personal impression. It loses the viability pretty fast. So I put in water here. This will go to the heater again. And I will make sure that I push this under the heater. Maybe this will get us a few seedlings. But right now it doesn't look good. This one also, pink stripes. Oh, pink stripes. Why do you always make me cry? I'm always sad when I have seeds of pink stripes and I can't get a seedling. It's such a beautiful flower. But yeah, unfortunately in this case, whatever I'm not sure why the seeds didn't come up. We will inspect. This will go to the heater also. Let's put in a little bit more water. Just a little bit. Because in this case, with these are takeaway containers, food takeaway containers, and they don't have drainage holes, so you have a lot of water in there, and it doesn't get anywhere. It can't go, so it very fast want to wash away the seedlings. What's happening with my internet here? I'm not sure. Like if I'm offline quite often, I hope not. Every now and then I get a notification that I'm connecting again. I'm almost done with my stream today. Just want to wrap up this here. So apologize for the shaky internet. I'm not sure why. If it continues to be a problem with the wireless, then I will just go with the mobile again in the future. So in this case here, I dropped it and there were no seedlings also. Let's have a look, just to be sure that there are no seedlings. Every now and then you have a seedling that comes up at a bad spot where it's kind of covered by the label or by soil. But this just looks like it's unviable. So this will go into the trash probably. Hey mate, no problem. Have a nice day. Is it really snowing? We've had snow like 2 days ago, and I was really looking forward to having snow. And when I got up in the morning, it was already gone. So yeah, we unfortunately got just a few hours of snow, and it instantly started to rain away. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know about the delay thing. Oh, this is nice. This is Amun-Re. I'm happy about that. We are growing Amun-Re seedlings here. That's wild. 15 centimeters. I like when it's snowing, but yeah. It also means that everything comes to a still stand, like the whole, like driving somewhere, you know? Okay, so I'm very happy that we have these seedlings. Like Amun-Re, great plant. Imagine we have 100 of them. That would be great. So we are growing these here. Could be amazing, could look beautiful. They will go to the lamp. Not the heater, because we have so many seedlings already. I don't want to have too much heat. Okay, so this is like it's 2 more and then I'm done. So already, if you have any more questions, let me know now. If not, I'm just going through the last remaining ones, and then I'm going offline. Yeah, these look good. Healthy green. Diameter of the Amun-Re flower. I measured it, and it was close to 20, I think. Something around 20. It isn't huge, immensely huge, but it's pretty big. If you see it in front of you, it looks very impressive. But yeah, I need to look it up. I wrote it down in my book, I think, in my second book. I believe I wrote a description. I'm not sure if I had the flower description at the time, like the diameter, but I think it should be included in the book. So I will have a look. I think 19 centimeters, 20 centimeters at the least. Okay. Yeah, these look good. one variegated seedlings on the outside, doesn't matter. Even if something happens to it out there, it would still, like if that one seedling expires, the fungal infection that it could produce would probably not reach the other seedlings. I often, when I'm unsure about a seedling in a container, I move it to the outer areas. I cast it out. Like from society, when you had that guy with the running nose, that would always walk around before it gets serious, like before a plague. That's what I do with the seedlings. I always put the plague seedlings on the outer area. Okay. Good. This is the last one, and this one has nothing. No seedlings. Teleflora seeds. This will go to the heater again. I'm unhappy about the low viability, non-existing viability. But not all hybrid crosses with Teleflora can work out the same way. I feel like we had some good ones. I don't want to complain, I feel like Teleflora has been good to me last year. Last year there were 7 fruits on Teleflora. So if 1 or 2 of them don't come up, that's okay. I don't want to be too demanding. So yeah, that was my stream for today. I think I would spend a little bit more time with Mika and Kami now. I hope you have a great day today. I might be posting again today, doing videos again today. And thank you all for being here. Thank you also for taking me the way I am, for it, for understanding that every now and then a stream takes its own direction. Like yesterday, I appreciate that I can do that I can just be myself, and if a question comes, I don't have to think if I can discuss it or not. I appreciate that, because it's become a pretty, the nature of the stream has changed a little, or the nature of the website, the nature of me as a creator. I've become, I just enjoy the hobby. I just want to do my hobby, want to promote my hobby, advertise. Yeah, you really need to watch it. You really need to watch it. I had to watch it too. I'm still confused why they chose my stream to promote, because it's like, it's a pretty big party in Germany, and it's an infamous party in Germany to say it like this, and that just, you just have to, I couldn't not comment, I didn't want to risk that people see this and think I'm political like that, because the kind of politics that I personally have is totally different. I needed to explain that yesterday, and it took a little longer than I wanted, but I appreciate that you, a lot of people like me exactly for that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for this great stream again. I will be back tomorrow again, same time, and always happy to get back to questions, stuff like that. So let me know if you have anything that you want to know in the comments. If not, I will be back again tomorrow morning. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone. I hope you do the most of it. I hope you have a great day, guys. Thank you. Take care.